Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. It's Lilian Odhiambo here and I'm so excited to be back. So I am a Kenyan living in Canada and I show nursing and lifestyle videos. So thank you so much guys for your support. For all the people that have subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. And for the people who are here for the first time, kindly subscribe and show me some love. So guys, I'm so excited today to show you my guest. It really took me time to convince him to come here. So yeah, this is my lovely husband, Juma Umala. He's a student here. So I'm really liking to take you through the steps of application for a student visa. So welcome.
Thank you, Lilian. Yes, I'm so excited to be here today with my wife to talk to you about some of the issues that I have, come across while applying to come and study here. So welcome, and I hope one or two things can be of help to you today from this video.
Yeah, so kindly introduce yourself. Who should you introduce?
Yes, I am Juma Omala. You have introduced me. You forgot. So currently I study a Master of Public Policy at McGill. McGill is in Montreal, in a province called Quebec in Canada. So the province is like a French speaking province. I don't know. But McGill, they teach in English, and some of the universities here as well. So that's one of the things you need to keep in mind when coming here. When you're going to one of these schools, you learn in English, but when you're looking for jobs, especially in Quebec, it's purely French. Maybe some English, but only 14% are English speakers. But in other parts like Ontario, Alberta, they speak in English. So it's good to have that background information when you're considering coming here.
So how is living in Canada taking you so far?
So I've been here since August last year. My program started in August. I think I came during summertime, so it was very hot at that time of the year. And then we went to fall, which is a bit, in the it's somewhere in the middle. It's not too cold. It's not too hot, so it's a very interesting period. And then we went to winter, which we are now. In fact, today it's like negative 20 degrees Celsius. So guys, it's too cold here.
It is.
In other aspects, like of course, challenges here and there, the food, the culture, you're trying to blend in, you're trying to move from point A to B. You're not used to this place. When I came, I didn't have any family here. Of course, I had a few friends, but you have to be really independent and hit the ground moving. And you have to know stuff pretty much quickly. So it's been an exciting experience, but also quite challenging, but so is life. So we have to just learn how to maneuver and be independent. That's the word.
Good. So are you still experiencing homesickness, or you are just okay right now?
No. I think my first experience going to the US in 2017, 2018. At that time, I think I was. It was my first experience away from home for such a long time. But it also taught me a lot of things, to be independent, to, you learned in a country, you don't have anyone, you don't know anybody, So you tend to miss home a lot, but I did learn from that experience. Of course, you know, you miss family, friends. We talk on the phone, but at the end of the day, you have to do what you have to do and what brought you here. So I don't know if I answered you, but I miss home, but I also have to, you know, do what I have to do.
Good. So could you please take us through the steps that you use, or the process that is usually used when applying for a student visa, or rather a student permit?
Thank you. Thank you for that question. I know people want to come here to maybe, you know, further your studies or look for work opportunities, and the major thing, what I'm going to share is by no means, you know, what you have to do, but at least it will give you some tips of increasing your chances to get here. And what I can share for sure is that Canada is a land of opportunities. Like, it's a country where, you know, in I would say growing up, most of us, you know, experience challenges here and there, so you know what it is to lack. So you really want to work hard and not be in that situation again. So if you know where you're coming from, you can really make it. And the only issue is how to enter here. That's the main concern. So number one, the easiest way is to come through, you know, school. You're coming to study, and for you to study, I don't know which level most people are, but mostly you if you have an undergrad from Kenya or wherever you are, that's a good starting point. You could come here on like a master's program or a postgrad diploma, or whichever way you want to come, but that's like the easiest way to make your way to Canada if you know, desire to come and work here. And it's very key for you to have a paper from Canada. So that means some kind of education system, a certificate or a diploma or a degree, be it bachelor's or master's. So mostly people come to, you know, study for a 1 or 2 year master program, and then it would be very easy for you to integrate into the system. But to cut the long story short, let's get to the meat of it, which is your question, like, how do you apply for study permit? For me, I think it was a bit different because I had a fully paid scholarship, which pays for my school fees and upkeep and books, you know, and any other thing that I might want, which is, you know, it's God's doing, but not everyone will get such opportunities, you know. So they really helped me through the process. They paid for everything that I should have paid. They gave me letters, you know. You need a letter from your scholarship. But today we want to talk about, you don't have a scholarship but you want to come to study in Canada. So I'll talk you through that process, and then of course if you have any question, you might want to reach out to Lillian through the comment section, and then I'll be able to see those and answer appropriately. So the first thing you want to do is research a lot. Research. Look at the schools you want to go to. Look at the courses you want to do. Because the thing is, when you're paying for yourself, it's your own money, you know, so you have to get the best value out of it. So research number one that you want to do is, where do you want to study? What do you want to study? How much does it cost? Which schools are offering it? At what cost? You know, you want to save some money as well. So the first assignment for you is to look at the school fees, if it is affordable. If it's not, you could always look at other options as well. So when you've made that decision, the first thing to do is to apply for the school and make sure you secure offer letter, because without that you can't apply for the visa. You have any question up to there?
Okay, so for example, you have a scholarship. So do you apply for this for an admission in a school, or you apply for the scholarship first if you want to go through the scholarship method?
Yes, the scholarship is another topic altogether, which we could talk about forever. But the thing is, those scholarships are different. It depends which one you're applying to. Some of the scholarships would want you to have the offer letter first, and then you apply to the scholarship. Some of them would give you the scholarship on the condition that you would apply to specific schools that you decide or they decide for you. So mine, the way it worked was that I had to apply to the school, get the admission letter, and then ask the school to recommend me to apply for the scholarship, and then I would make another separate application for the scholarship. So it depends, and that's where research comes in, like what do you really want, and what works for you, and yeah. So that's it. Like you have to research and know. So scholarship aside, let's assume you don't have scholarship, right? So you have to look at what's affordable for you. Now, you've already looked at that, and you've identified a school, you've applied, you have your offer letter, because it takes around 2-3 months to get the offer letter, but you could email back and forth with the graduate coordinator or anyone who is responsible for that program to fast track your application or something. But the other point is you have to start early as possible. If you want to start school in, let's say, September, you have to apply to that school as early as January, so that by March you already have your offer letter, and then you can start applying. Now, let's assume you have your offer letter. You just go to the CIC Canadian government website, and then you follow the process. Like they will ask you, you have to make an account first with the password and your personal information, and then they will ask you if whatever type of visa that you want to apply, be it student visa or spousal visa, work permit, and then you choose. Of course, you'll choose a student visa, and then you will select a work permit. So what I want to tell you now is about the requirements. First, you have to have a passport. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember one of my first trip outside Kenya, I didn't have a passport, so I missed that chance. So it's really important, once you have identified that you want to pursue opportunities outside your country, first thing to do is to have a passport, no matter how much it costs. I think it costs like 4,500 Kenya shillings. Yeah, so that's pretty much, you could, if you don't have that money, you could figure out or brainstorm how to get it, but it's really important. Even if you don't have plans yet, just make arrangements to have it. And then they will ask for your digital photograph. There's specifications in the website that you could look at and make sure, like, the very specifications, your photo meets those specifications, because at this point you don't want anything that minimizes your chances to get the study permit. And then of course a letter of explanation. You have to write a letter to the immigration officer to explain, I want to go to this school to pursue this course, and for this and this and this reason, maybe because I have a business back home, but I want to learn how to manage my business. After my studies, I intend to go back home because that point is very critical.
That's something to note. Yeah.
Yes.
You must let them know that you intend to go back home.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you also had to do that
I had
in
to.
your
Yeah,
letter.
yeah. I had to.
What was your reason for coming? Because you have to also explain why you are coming to Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do I have to say?
Oh, well, yeah, maybe that's,
That's
for the
for
viewers to think about. Like, you have to really convince the immigration officer that you're coming in goodwill, and in goodwill also means that you don't have any criminal records back home. So that means you have to get your police clearance. That document is very important. But people ignore. It's only 1,000 bob. So also, but it lasts for 1 year.
Yeah, so they have to be checking if it's still valid.
Yes. So if you have plans for September, but you want to apply for visa in March or April, you have to get it as soon as you can, because you will need to attach it. It's not really a requirement, but it boosts your chances to get the visa, which is your goal here. So very important police clearance. They will not ask for it, but these are some of the tricks that we wanted to tell you to boost your chances. The other thing is statement of accounts, which is like the number one thing that they look at. Statement of account means that, number one, you can be able to afford your flight to Canada and back to Kenya or to whichever country. It also means that you can be able to live here in Canada comfortably for some periods of time, you know, like let's say 6 months to 1 year. You can be able to live, because they don't want you to come and they have their own problems. So they don't want you to maybe come and become homeless, and then the state has to now provide for you, you know. So if for the statement of account, the number one thing is that you have to make sure that your bank account balance exceeds your tuition fee that you'll have to pay. And then it also covers for like your 6 months to 1 year requirements, you know, accommodation. And accommodation here could be very expensive. Like a standard house, apartment could be maybe 800 Canadian dollars, which is, if you convert to Kenyan shillings, it's almost 70,000 per month. So you have to beat that calculation, like, you know, 70,000 times 8 months or 12 months, you know. The higher amount of money you have in your account, the better your chances of getting it. And that's the truth, you know. So let's say your school fee is 5,000 Canadian dollar per semester, and usually there are 3 semesters if you're studying, if you want to study a master's program. So that's 5,000 plus times 3, which is 15,000. 15,000. Yeah, sorry. 15,000. So you have to have an upwards of 15,000, and then you have to be able to cover your daily expenses, which is around, let's say, 1,500 per month. So that times 12 months. You see, so you're already talking about like an upwards of 3 million Kenya shillings in your account. You don't have to have all of that, but it's really good if you had that or more. But also, if you have like a parent who has some money in the account, you can use their account statement, but they have to write a letter for you saying that, okay, I am so and so, the applicant's father or mother, I have this amount in my bank account, and I'll be able to provide or cover for their school fees or daily upkeep. So yeah, you have to get the letter. Now there's another thing which people do, which is kind of a gamble, you know, using your uncle's statement or your aunt somewhere, or your relative or your friend. The point is that they want you to be able to access that money when you need it. You see?
Yeah.
So like if you have a need now, will you be able to access your uncle's money from the account? Maybe not, but your dad or your mom, you could just give them a call. So they, they trust your parents more than your extended family members. So point to keep in mind, if you have to use, you could talk to your uncle or your relative to, give you that money. Maybe you will refund later, but for the purposes of printing your statement of account, it has to show that, the other thing is employment letter. If you're employed, it's good to show that, I'm employed, I'm going to increase my skills and gain, strengthen some parts in my gaps in my knowledge, and then come back to employment. And then the other thing, you have to verify all the forms, cross the T's, dot the I's, make sure everything is good, and then go to the application system, make sure kila kitu is in order. Kila kitu. Just maybe give it to your spouse or your friend to double check, because you never know. And then all the documents, there's a section where they say any other relevant documentation. So you have to put all of those documents in one PDF and then attach. The point is just follow all the instructions that they ask. There's another thing I wanted to talk about, which is fees. So every stage has a fee. When you're applying for your study permit, it's around 150 Canadian dollars. That's something to put in mind. For your biometric fees as well, around 85 Canadian dollar, which depends, it varies from country to country and from time to time. Also medical fees, it's around maybe 300 Canadian dollars. So you can already see that the whole process is a bit expensive, but if you are really committed, it's a worthwhile investment. The other thing I wanted to say about medical is once you've applied for your visa, whichever type it is, and then they ask you to complete your medical, that's like 80% chance that you have been given the study permit or whichever visa it is. If you get rejected, they will not tell you to come and complete medical. So that's a reason to be looking forward to it and start preparations. But if not, then you could always reapply. Do you have any questions up to there?
So how long did it take you to get your email that you need to go for your medicals? How long? What is the time frame?
Yes, so mine was a bit different. Again, when you're coming to Quebec, you have to first apply for what they call CAQ. CAQ, that I forgot what it was. Quebec acceptance something. Acceptance letter, it's a residency. It means you've been permitted to come and live in and study in Quebec. So that costs I think 150 Canadian dollars as well, and it takes 3 weeks for it to be approved. So you have to apply for CAQ first, and then after the 3 weeks, when you 3 working weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so it's 15 working days, yeah. So you have to budget with that as well. After it's 20.
21.
Yeah, 21 working days. So you have to wait and get that, and then now start the study permit application. In terms of the time, the duration, it really depends from person to person. I think I started applying for CAQ in April. Remember, I'm reporting in August. So I started in April, I got it early May, started applying right away for my study permit, got it in July. So it could take a lot of time. Depends with the country relationships with Canada. If there's any issues, you know, it depends, the diplomatic relationships as well. And sometimes if your country is not in good terms with Canada, you could get denied, you know. That's just how it is. But I think for Kenya, we are friends with everyone. Well, not everyone, but a lot of countries. So that gives us an upper hand in terms of, you know, trying to further our studies in these countries. Maybe budget with 3 months. 3 months around. It could be before that, but you know, 3 months, maybe at most 4, because then you should have received from them. But with COVID now, you never know. So tip number 1, start early. Yes. Any questions again?
Are you done?
Ties at home, very important. Like, you have to show in your letter that, or in your application in general, that you have some ties at home that would make you to go back. So let's say if you have a business, you have to attach business name, maybe memorandum of understanding, something, you know, registration certificate. If you have land, some piece of land or other property, you have to attach your title deed, because it shows like this person is really invested into going back home. So because when they're evaluating your application, the most important question they're asking is, are you able to survive in Canada? Which means, do you have enough money to take care of yourself or your other dependents? Number 2, will you go back home when you finished your studies? So you have to prove those points. If you have a spouse you left at home, you may want to attach your marriage certificate. If you have children, you want to attach their birth certificates as well. And say in the letter, remember the letter of intent that you have to write? You have to state there explicitly that I am married to so-and-so, attached is a marriage certificate. We also have this number of kids, and I've also attached their birth certificate. Like, literally explain everything, because with this process there is no interview at any point. The only interview you'll be subjected to is when you've come in, and through the immigration they might ask you 2 to 3 questions, which takes like a minute or 2.
Yeah.
Yes. So you have to prove that you're going back home. Sometimes you don't have documentation to prove, which makes it difficult, but you could do more research on that, on how to prove that.
You just have to put a lot of work when doing the application.
Yes.
Research, do everything that it's needed. So people have been talking about this thing for a very long time. You know, everywhere you go, it's just ringing in your ears. English proficiency test, IELTS. So is it a must thing to have? Is it a requirement that you should have before coming to Canada for your studies?
So that's a good question, because IELTS, to begin with, it's very expensive, right? I think you had to go through that.
It is.
But it's because of your professional goals, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like 28,000 Kenya shillings, around that amount, almost 300 USD. So for me personally, I will talk about myself. I don't know about others, but I have been trying to evade that thing for the longest time. Like, anything involving IELTS, I am not there. So I try to find ways to beat, to avoid it. But the truth is, some schools would require you to have that. you know, like, so if you're applying to some specific courses, they would want to see your, you know, English proficiency, and the most acceptable worldwide is of course IELTS. For me, that's one of the things I look at when I'm applying to schools. Like, do they require IELTS? How about this scholarship? Is it a requirement? So for me, I think I've been, I don't know if it's luck or because I really wanted to go to McGill, and coincidentally my department did not require that, and so did my scholarship. So I didn't have to do it. But if you have to, then it's a good investment to do, because it lasts for 2 years. After that, you know, you have to take another one. So within that period of 2 years, you have to really make sure that you put it to good use. But as regards your question, it depends. It varies from school to school.
So is it safe to say that you just have to like do it for maybe further use or maybe further applications? So what do you suggest?
It's a lot of money, you know. So you will make judgment depending on what course you want to study, or maybe you want to pursue nursing like my wife. So you have to do it, you know. So you have to really look at your next steps, like will it require IELTS? And you know, like, if let's say there's another route to come to Canada, which is express entry. That one you don't have a choice, like you have to do it. Some professions, they would require that, some schools, you know. So if you have that money and you have some time to maybe look at a few YouTube videos or sign up for classes, I'd say go for it, but just make sure you put it into use in the next 2 years before it expires.
Thank you.
Yes.
So anything else you would like to tell our viewers?
Viewers, continue to, you know, like, I always believe that if you really want something so badly, you will get it. So just do your part. Your part is to do the research, reach out to people who have achieved something that you want to achieve. Reach out, you know, never be shy of like sending emails, reaching out through LinkedIn, you know, calling people in your circle. I'm sure in your circle there's someone somewhere who have achieved something that you want so badly. So research and let God do his side. That's all.
Yeah, so thank you very much for coming and explaining the process that you used. And I would really like to see more Kenyans in Canada, you know. There are some people who are like in this, for example, in maybe Ontario, a lot of people are from maybe Nigeria and other countries.
So many people from Nigeria.
And I'm like, where are the Kenyans? Where are the Kenyans? You know, sometimes we just want to speak Swahili. Now, where are they? So I'll really advise people to check in the opportunities, make use of them, apply. Guys, you can make it, you know. Just work hard and follow the steps that are required. You can even apply for the scholarships. You really don't have to like have the money to sponsor yourself, but if you are able to sponsor yourself, then it's good. Yeah. So that's all that we had today. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and until next time, bye.
Bye. Thank you for hosting me.